Wherever you are. Good morning, good afternoon, grand rising, richest of rising. You know, I remember when I was working at this specific job that every morning, and shout out to them for the Healthy Hoes podcast, used to get me through. They would be like, wherever you're at, in the car, the cubicle, on the treadmill, how are you doing today? And I want to ask the same question for you. And I do understand that I can't necessarily hear you respond, but how are you doing today? Just pause. How are you really doing today? Hopefully, you're doing amazing. Hopefully, you're giving yourself grace. And if you aren't doing the greatest, or today has been a little bit more difficult to get up and rise, I want to pause. Take a breath with you and let you know that that's okay too. We're on our highest, healthiest, and wealthiest timeline of being the best version of ourselves. Okay? And so I'm sitting down today. We're not outside because it's a little cold. As you can see, I got a sweater, we got the blanket, but we're still in the space. And if it's your first time coming into the space, seeing this channel, my name is Jalen. This is Be More Balanced. And I invite you to have a seat, listen in, take a walk with me, a jog, a run. And we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it today. Where I am, whenever you see this video, it's a Sunday for me, and it ain't too sunny outside yet, but it's sunny inside where we're at. Okay? So I'm just going to meet you where you're at. And today I am talking about a message that I received as soon as I rose this rising, as well as into the wee hours of last night, which is don't be too influenced. Be influential for yourself, but don't be too influenced. That's not what we want to be. We want to be influential. We don't want to be highly influenced. And where this is coming from is the foundation of the reason why I made this channel years ago was because I realized in every space that I worked in, there was lacking of people-centeredness, right? Consciousness. And I don't believe that spirituality, metaphysics, God should be separate, right? I know we live in a society where they separate church and state, but that's where we went wrong, okay? Inside of every place where more than one or two are gathered, you know the scripture. God is in the space, okay? And I'm not a highly religious person. I'm not even a Christian, but I can attest to that. When my body is in a place, God is in this space, okay? So if you can agree with that, when you are in a place, God is in a space. It doesn't matter if you're at home. It doesn't matter if you're at a church. It don't matter if you in your bathroom. It doesn't matter if you in the club. It doesn't matter where you are. Wherever you are, God is in that space. Now, where you are and where somebody else is, ooh, that's even more powerful energy of God or universal frequency in that space. Okay, now follow me. I would charge you if you didn't tap into my last video. Tap into my last video because this is a conversation that's a continuation. So, with that being said, and the reason why I am honing in on the fact that you don't need to be that influenced. We want that out the window, and we're in a society where influencers are the norm. Influencers are what are pushed in front of us, whether it's somebody like Coca-Cola or a celebrity. And not to say everybody who is an influencer is negative. I mean, shoot, I'm influencing in my own right, but I'm always going to charge you to influence yourself, right? Tap in with yourself to see what I'm saying, which is probably naturally influencing you in one way or another. Is it influencing you in a balanced way, in a more aligned way to your highest and your wealthiest timeline? Or is it influencing you in a way that's not in alignment with yourself? So, we're really going to get into it today because you ever been to or on a job interview where somebody says, oh my gosh, you just have so much potential, or maybe a mentor, or somebody you've run into who you highly admire. Shoot, it may even be a parent, a significant other, auntie, and uncle, whatever. And somebody said to you, you have so much potential. You don't even realize, or I can see the potential in you. I feel them. And at the same time, your potential is only as high and as far as you see your potential, not what somebody else can see for you, not what I can see for you. So that's why it's very critical and important to not be super or overly influenced by those influencing you to shine a light on what type of potential they see in you. That's from their lens. That's from their perspective. That's from their version of their cog in the matrix. So I touched on workplaces and job spaces, and something that I work with people who are high performers and everyday individuals, people like you and me, right? Is that I'm bringing back the consciousness, the people centeredness, the fact that our energy is currency into these organizations, into these workspaces, okay? Because they've forgotten that you are the most influential being, currency, energy, God essence in that space. It doesn't matter what their core values are. It doesn't matter how they want to influence you. It doesn't matter what potential they see in you. It matters the potential that you've reminded yourself to remember that you have. It matters the influence that you're aware of. There were times and spaces where people would tell me, oh my gosh, I just see so much potential in you. You could do this, you could do that. Sometimes they would tell me, and sometimes they wouldn't tell me, right? And they have their own story, their own idea, their own manifestation that they wanted to acquire based off the potential that they saw in me. Maybe that aligned with me, maybe it didn't. 9 times out of 10, it didn't, because only you know your potential. And so the reason why I again mention workspaces is because it is scientifically proven, and I love me some science, some physics. Yes, we into the physics over here, okay? So one of my favorite scientists and physics, person who studies physics, okay, is Dan Winters. Check him out. He's awesome. He talks about metaphysics, spirituality, science, and he brings it down to a practical sense. Sometimes the things he says goes over my head, but when you start to listen, really listen, and feel, sometimes it's a feeling, it makes sense for those who are not too into the sciences. So I was listening to him, and it is scientifically proven through research and studies that working in metal buildings, working in places and spaces that are not congruent to our natural auric field is highly detrimental. Not only that, hospitals that are built on these designs that are not congruent with our energetic field, that are solely metal and all of these material that do not have the person in mind, are not in any way highlighting and emphasizing healing, actually, for real. And so much so in other countries, don't quote me on it, I think he said like Switzerland and stuff, like some other countries have realized in their studies and changed the architect and the designs of their buildings, the walls, the installations, because when they changed how they built the buildings for their purpose and intention of healing and helping in these hospitals, people healed faster. The frequency was different. Their auras, the expansive energy was able to change, was able to breathe just a little bit more. You ever been in maybe a heated discussion with somebody, or around people with a heated discussion, and you hear somebody, or maybe even yourself, and you like, I got to get some fresh air. I need to open up a window. I need to something. It's because there is a direct influence of interacting with natural energies and natural material on our bodies for our energetic field. Okay. And I bring this up because these spaces, these buildings, these work environments that we are occupying on a daily basis have our bodies and our nervous systems in shock because we can't breathe. Okay? Because it cannot breathe. Our energetic sphere is so boggled down and confined in these boxes and in these places and spaces. It doesn't make sense. Well, it makes sense to their version of what potential they see for us. It makes sense for their version of influence that they want to have on us. Okay? So I want to shine light on the fact that consciousness should be in these corporate spaces. And corporate is bigger than just, your 9 to 5 everyday environment. Corporate can be McDonald's, corporate could be Target, corporate could be your local gym. Maybe you're a trainer, you work in. We need to start demanding, influencing, recognizing our potential, our energetic influence, that God is in every space that we walk in. Every space that you inhabit, when you take up space, you are literally taking up the space. God is literally taking up space when you walk into these buildings. And if they want you to work for them, to give ideas, to share your essence and your life force energy in a union, in a marriage, because it is, you sign a contract with them, You're giving over your experience, your breath. We need to demand balance. They should be more balanced, these spaces, because you deserve to expand your life force, energy, and potential and influence in every shape or form, especially in the places that you work in every single day. You know, the last space that I worked in, I remember like it was yesterday. I had the most phenomenal manager that I was working with at the time. And she openly shared with me and told me, "Oh, yeah, we sage regularly up in here." Okay. I said, "What?" She said, "Oh, yeah, we burn incense, sage." I had never in a corporate space had the influence of consciousness in the space. Have you ever been able to burn incense at your job that wasn't associated with metaphysicality and spirituality and wasn't in your home? I'm talking about the average workspace. If you had, that's phenomenal. But this was something that I was like, every workspace needs this. Every person that's embodying and walking in divine light and orchestrating God's do justice on this earthly plane should be able to expand their auric field, should be able to hygienically clean and cleanse their workspace. This is not something we should be asking permission for. This should be as simple as using the bathroom. It's hygiene. This is as simple as me taking a lunch break. It's hygiene. Spiritual hygiene in these workspaces need to be talked about. It's not woo-woo. It is our birthright. It is a part of us being sovereign beings. You deserve to be in a workspace where you can breathe. You deserve to be in a workspace where your anxiety is not high every time you cross the threshold. You deserve to be in workspaces that align with your highest, your wealthiest, and your most conscious timeline. So, this is me calling in that awareness to the version of you that already knows that you deserve this. This is not new. That is reminding you what you deserve in your workspaces, okay? This is not something that you bring up to the boss or your manager or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, well, we'll have to, think about it with HR." Whatever they need to do, they need to figure it out, because these workspaces are supposed to be centered around you. In our capitalistic society, I'm calling us out. I'm calling them out. I'm calling you out. I'm calling me out. We need to demand energetic hygiene in these spaces. Just like they have somebody checking off on the doors of, "Oh, did such and such clean the bathroom today? Did they wipe down the sink? Did they wipe down the floors? Did the sage? Did they burn the orange peel and the clove and the lemon before they open up the shop?" So these are the conversations that I present and I have for you and me in these creative spaces, in these workspaces that are supposed to be people centered and focused. So, with that being said, I thank you for tapping in. I thank you for listening. I thank you for choosing yourself. I thank you for listening to something that may be new to you. And I'm going to end this conversation by pulling a card from the deck that I have. It's called Beyond Lemuria. And let's just see what message lands for us at the end of today. Okay. Remember that church and state ain't supposed to be separate. Remember that spirituality is also the material realm, as above, so below. Remember that I don't care what they tell you, they can make it happen. They can make it happen. They can make a shift. They can make a change. They've just never done it before. You can be the one. You can be the glitch in the matrix. It's okay. It's okay to not be influenced. It is okay. And it's also okay to tell somebody, you actually don't know my potential. Your potential is oftentimes based on the box that only they know and see. And that's not a dig towards them. It's an empowerment and it's a dig within your heels to recognize and to stand on the highest, the wealthiest, and the most authentic timeline that you were gifted before you even got here. They don't know what your highest potential is. Only you do. Okay? So I love y'all. I like y'all. And let us see. Okay, well, that was easy. This one came up naturally. Star Seed Elemental number 45. What it looks like. I got this the other day, actually. Our highest potential is here for us. I don't have the book, but if you were interested in knowing what the message is for this card, I will link the description for the book in the I'll link the book in the description. Mercury is retrograde. I will link the book in the description. It's free and you'll be able to follow the number, it's number 45, and it'll take you to the message. That way you can read it. And I'm going to pull one more. So that was number 45, which I always reduce in numerology, which is 9. 9 is a beautiful cosmic number. 9 is completion. 9 is about to starting anew because once you go from 9, you then go to 10 and we start all over again, right? And Starseed Elemental, I'm sure I'm talking to a lot of starseeds. I know I am because I am that, but I also know that there are those who are a little bit younger than me tapping into this frequency, and you guys are most definitely the generation that's going to shake the table, continue to shake the table, and demand to be influential in your most authentic birthright rather than influenced by those who don't even know what your potential is. They think they do. So let's see. Just gonna grab it here. Awakened awareness. Number 17, which is 8. Ooh, you see how we 9, 8. I'm gonna show you. I think this is very fitting for this channel because awakened awareness is everything that we are. Awakened awareness is what I'm bringing to the table. Some of the topics that I discuss are a little shocking and people may raise their eyebrow. You know, the old folks might be like, but also those that are in alignment, they know what's up. You know, I am here because of a praying grandmother, a praying mother, and I am here because what's coming through me is coming through the ethers and it's coming through my ancestors. And I am so grateful to be speaking with you today. So that is Starseed Elemental number 45 and Awakened Awareness number 17. And I promise that I will link both of these in the description with the book so that you can check out with the full length discussion and download, upload synchronicity that you might have with these two cards today. So thank you for tuning in. I love that you love yourself. I love that you're showing up for yourself. And if this resonates with you in any sort of way, and you here with me, drop a diamond today. Drop a diamond emoji. Yeah, drop a diamond emoji because Starseed Elemental and Awakened Awareness like a diamond to me. Drop a diamond today and let me know what part, if anything, resonated with you. If there's anything that came up for you, if there were any triggers for you, if there's any shifts for you, I would love to hear what you're growing through because we're all growing on this journey. And remember, start where you're at and continue with everything in your life to be more balanced. I'll talk to you soon.